In the future world, every individual is scheduled for cosmetic surgery upon turning 16. Scientists believe that if everyone is flawless, conflicts will naturally disappear, and society will become a symbol of perfection. Children under the age of 16 are deemed inferior until their transformation and are collectively referred to as uglies. Tally, who has always been self-conscious, eagerly anticipates her surgery. With 3 months left until her 16th birthday, she can only hide in her cramped room, using the smart mirror to sketch a perfect version of herself for comfort. Suddenly, Paris sends her a message, inviting her to join him at the top to have a look. The two put on their glasses and gaze at the dazzling buildings across the way, filled with envy, knowing it's a place only those who have undergone the surgery can access. Thinking about their upcoming surgeries, they look forward to becoming their better selves. Before the surgery, all uglies gather to attend a seminar about the transformation. Centuries ago, humanity's over-reliance on fossil fuels and reckless exploitation of Earth's resources led to chaos and war. With this era's people referred to as Rusties, some brilliant scientists took on the mission to save civilization, inventing a revolutionary method and creating a renewable energy source called white tiger orchid as an alternative. However, human nature proved unpredictable, and these efforts couldn't fundamentally solve the problems. The vast differences among people led to divisions in class, race, and nation. Scientists envisioned a shared humanity and devised a new solution: body modification, collectively called the transformation. On their 16th birthday, every individual undergoes a life-changing surgery that makes them the most perfect version of themselves. Paris is scheduled for his surgery tomorrow, so he leaves first. Since Tally still has 3 months until her 16th birthday, she can only watch him go, feeling left behind. Before parting, they set a 1-month bridge meeting as a promise. On the first night after their separation, Tally finds herself missing Paris in her dormitory. She recalls how they first met years ago when Paris was troubled by his large nose, and she was ridiculed for her lazy eye. The two became friends by chance, with Paris suggesting that even if they hadn't undergone surgery, they wouldn't view each other as uglies. When Paris noticed Tally distracted, he knocked a glass object out of her hand, accidentally cutting his palm. Tally silently picked up a shard and cut her own palm in the same way, creating matching scars as a token of their friendship. Thinking about how Paris's scar would soon disappear, Tally couldn't help but feel melancholy. After a month of sadness, Tally suddenly remembered it was the day of their bridge meeting. Ignoring her smart assistant's protests, she jumped out of the window. However, when Tally arrived at the meeting place, Paris was nowhere to be found. Concerned, Tally ventured near the dormitory of the pretties to look for him. Unlike the strict curfews for uglies, the pretties enjoyed vibrant nightlife. Tally picked up a mask to hide her face and blended into the crowd, marveling at the pretties' freedom and beauty. Still worried about Paris, Tally searched the crowd and quickly spotted his tall figure. At first, Paris avoided Tally, but when she removed her mask, he visibly became awkward. He gently explained that once she became a pretty, she would understand. Tally felt betrayed by her lifelong friend, who had suggested their promise but now refused to honor it. Even the shared scar was gone. As Tally pressed him on the matter, alarms suddenly blared, signaling an intruder. Security guards began searching for the trespasser. Tally hurriedly navigated through the crowd, putting on a vest for disguise. She jumped off a 100-meter-high building, bouncing back midair thanks to a protective membrane. Adjusting her landing, she safely reached the ground and quickly discarded the vest. At the bridge, a misplaced stone caught the attention of a patrolling guard. Just as Tally thought she'd be caught, a skateboarding girl helped her escape. The two snuck into the kitchen to steal food, celebrating their new friendship. During their conversation, they discovered they shared the same birthday, marveling at the coincidence. From then on, Tally and Shay became inseparable. Shay often skipped classes to teach Tally skateboarding, instilling a love for adventure in her. Tally's daring jump from the pretty dorm had already become a legend, but she feared it might disqualify her from surgery. Shay, however, believed the surgery was inevitable. Under Shay's influence, Tally began exploring Rusty's books, broadening her worldview. Fascinated by descriptions of Smoke City, Tally learned that Shay planned to leave for Smoke City. To show her a different world, Shay took Tally to the lookout tower. To avoid detection, they removed their identity rings and left them on a tree branch, pretending to have a picnic. Shay then led Tally on a thrilling riverboarding adventure. Reaching the Rusty's territory, they climbed to the rooftop of an airplane building, agreeing to keep their discoveries a secret. Shay lit a fire using flint. She admitted she'd been in contact with David from Smoke City, but Tally feared being ostracized by her peers. Shay, unconcerned, confessed she didn't want the transformation surgery and preferred the freedom of Smoke City. In Smoke City, people weren't judged by appearance but valued for their inner qualities, and it had become a haven for children worldwide. Shay had planned to leave for Smoke City the day Tally jumped from the pretty dorm but had hesitated. Her time with Tally brought her happiness, but it also solidified her resolve to leave for Smoke City. Though Shay despised the surgery, Tally refused to join her, clinging to her dream of becoming beautiful. Influenced by societal values, Tally remained self-conscious about her lazy eye and longed for transformation. Before leaving, Shay gave Tally a letter written in code only Tally could understand, detailing the route to Smoke City. If Tally ever changed her mind, Shay would welcome her. Tearfully, Tally accepted the letter, hugging Shay goodbye. Soon, the long-awaited day of Tally's transformation arrived, but on the day of her surgery, she was unexpectedly taken away by the authorities. Tally nervously entered Dr. Cable's office. Dr. Cable wasted no time and directly inquired about Shay's whereabouts. She revealed that her investigation had uncovered a man named David who had influenced Shay. Tally felt worried for her friend but, recalling her promise to Shay, decided to feign ignorance. Dr. Cable's demeanor instantly changed, and she ordered Tally to stay in her dorm and reflect. If she couldn't remember anything, she would not be allowed to undergo the surgery. Left with no choice, Tally returned to her dorm, but to her surprise, an unexpected visitor arrived. Paris, whom she hadn't seen for a long time, acted as a mediator. Not wanting to be seen as an outcast, Tally reluctantly followed Paris' advice and decided to confess to Dr. Cable. Through Dr. Cable, Tally learned that Smoke City was developing a secret weapon to destroy the pretty's way of life. Dr. Cable designated Tally as her secret weapon, hoping Tally would go to Smoke City as a spy to save everyone. If she refused, Tally would not be eligible for the transformation surgery. Dr. Cable held up a necklace and used it for retinal recognition in front of Tally's eyes. She explained that once Tally found the weapon, wearing the necklace would emit a signal. With no other option, Tally reluctantly set out on the journey to Smoke City using Shay's directions. After traveling through mountains and enduring countless hardships, Tally finally found the entrance to Smoke City. Meanwhile, back in Dr. Cable's office, Paris was questioned about his recent encounter with Tally. Paris admitted that seeing Tally had stirred up memories of their past, including unspoken feelings he once had for her. Worried that Dr. Cable would reprimand him, Paris confessed that his actions were shameful. Dr. Cable, however, appeared understanding and asked Paris to step into a machine for some modifications. Without hesitation, Paris complied. At the same time, Tally, lying in a field of white tiger orchids, was awakened by thick smoke choking her lungs. She opened her eyes in terror to see a raging fire. Emerging from the smoke was David, who had come to retrieve Tally. David carefully emptied Tally's belongings and scanned them, quickly finding a tracking device in her bag. After destroying the tracker, David scanned Tally's body with a detector. When he scanned the necklace, Tally's heart raced, but David found nothing unusual. Realizing the tracker had gone silent, Dr. Cable suspected that Tally had been taken in and immediately dispatched people to the tracker's last known location. David brought Tally to the outposts, where she was finally reunited with Shay. Since Smoke City didn't accept strangers easily, Tally had to undergo a review process. Everyone knew that anyone traveling alone to Smoke City must have faced great difficulties along the way. David admired Tally's resilience and believed she would be a valuable addition to Smoke City once approved. Shay led Tally to a tent to rest. As they chatted, Shay noticed a new necklace around Tally's neck and asked where it came from. Caught off guard, Tally admitted it was from Paris, who had visited her the day before. Shay jokingly imagined a love story between Tally and Paris. Seizing the moment, Tally subtly suggested that Shay rethink Smoke City's existence. Influenced by Dr. Cable's words, Tally attempted to persuade Shay to act as a spy. Shay didn't argue with Tally but encouraged her to spend more time in Smoke City to understand it fully. The next morning, Tally woke to find everyone preparing for an emergency mission. Curious, she inquired about their plans. To her surprise, she learned that the place she had stayed the previous night had been set on fire by their group. They explained that the orchids were invasive, depleting the soil's nutrients and clearing the land of obstacles. Tally disagreed, recalling that the orchids had been used to clean up oil pollution caused by the Rusties. David's response shocked her. He revealed that the orchids, not the Rusties, were to blame for the current state of the world. To convince Tally, David broke protocol and brought her to observe their mission, with Shay vouching for Tally. A few of them boarded a decommissioned solar-powered aircraft. From the plane, Tally saw the orchids' growth patterns. turning vast areas into barren wastelands. On David's signal, Shay lit the orchids on fire, releasing plumes of smoke. As the group prepared to move forward, they noticed something unusual. Dr. Cable's team was closing in. In the rush to evacuate, Shay accidentally fell into the burning orchid field. Seeing this, David attempted to lower the aircraft, but the thick smoke obscured Shay's figure. Tally quickly grabbed a rope from the plane and rappelled into the field, risking her life to search for Shay. The plane was dangerously close to crashing, but Tally found Shay just in time and helped her to safety. David ordered the team to pull the rope, and they ascended to a safe altitude. Once out of danger, some questioned Tally's presence, suspecting her of being a spy. Croy voiced his suspicions, but David defended Tally, arguing that her selfless act to save Shay proved she had a good heart. Faced with everyone's trust, Tally felt immense guilt. Though she wanted to confess, she couldn't bring herself to do it. Tally's bravery earned her early acceptance into the group. Blindfolded, she was led to Smoke City's entrance. Here, everyone contributed by growing crops. With no money exchanged, only bartering, Tally was surprised by how welcoming everyone was, greeting her warmly without any sense of hierarchy. As Tally familiarized herself with Smoke City's operations, she secretly searched for the secret weapon. Over time, Tally began to integrate into Smoke City's life through hard work and camaraderie. In Smoke City, Tally experienced exotic cuisine, and never having eaten spicy food before, she was so overwhelmed she couldn't speak. Suddenly, David stood up and broke the harmonious atmosphere with an announcement. He had discovered signs of soldiers nearby, marking the closest they had ever come to Smoke City. Sensing the danger, David urged everyone to work together quickly to protect their home. Tally, inspired by the group's determination, realized how freeing it felt to stop judging people based on appearances. Noticing Tally's hands were blistered from work, David gave her a pair of gloves for protection. Suddenly, a large group of villagers arrived. Visibly shaken, they explained they had been attacked by scouts while burning the orchids. However, the attackers were no ordinary scouts. They moved faster than normal humans and seemed able to pass through fire unharmed. The group's faces darkened at this revelation. While tending to an injured friend, Shay and Tally went to fetch water together, and Shay noticed Tally wearing David's gloves. Shay broke the tension, pointing out that handcrafted gloves in Smoke City were precious gifts. Implying David's feelings for Tally, she urged Tally to make a choice quickly, asking if she was willing to stay in Smoke City. Tally couldn't decide overnight. After days of deliberation, she decided to ask David about the secret weapon. To her surprise, David revealed everything without hesitation, introducing Tally to his parents. Seeing the family's striking resemblance, Tally was amazed. In her world, people underwent surgeries to become flawless adults, causing family bonds to weaken, with most not even knowing what their parents looked like. Living in such an environment, Tally was astonished to see a family with such similar faces. David introduced Tally to his parents as someone he admired and vouched for her trustworthiness, urging them to share information about the secret weapon. Seeing their son in love, David's mother chose to believe in Tally. David's parents revealed they were former cosmetic surgeons and members of the Transformation Standards Committee, giving them access to the entire database. The committee had tasked them with making the surgery safer to reduce mortality rates. Tally was shocked to learn that transformation surgeries could result in death. The revelations didn't stop there. More disturbingly, the surgery caused brain lesions in areas responsible for critical thinking and empathy, leaving people dulled and incapable of meaningful thought. As a result, the pretties lived in a false sense of happiness, which Tally found horrifying. David explained that the surgery erased people's true selves. When David's parents uncovered this, the committee dismissed them, halting their work. It dawned on them that the brain lesions weren't side effects but the surgery's intended purpose and effective method of control. Unable to support such practices, David's parents fled. They chose to accept aging and imperfection to preserve free will and self-acceptance. Meanwhile, they continued researching a cure for the brain lesions. They had already created a basic serum in the lab but needed a synthetic compound to complete the treatment. David's parents explained that the necessary nanocompound was available in the city but retrieving it was too dangerous. They had been working on an alternative formula but still required clinical volunteers for trials. Tally suggested capturing a pretty for testing, but David's parents refused. The cure's safety wasn't guaranteed, and they wouldn't risk forcing it on anyone. The brain's complexity meant side effects could include seizures, brain damage, or even death. After learning the truth, Tally, feeling conflicted, removed her necklace and threw it into the campfire. She wanted to confess her betrayal but was interrupted by a kiss from David. Unbeknownst to Tally, the necklace had been designed by Dr. Cable to transmit a signal upon destruction. The next day, Dr. Cable's warships appeared over Smoke City. A swarm of soldiers descended, catching the villagers off guard. David prepared to fight back but was stopped by Tally, who recognized the soldiers' superior strength and insisted they focus on strategy. They hid nearby and observed as the soldiers rounded up the villagers. Suddenly, Tally spotted a familiar face: Paris. His cold, emotionless gaze showed no trace of humanity. Once the villagers were subdued, Dr. Cable emerged to confront David's parents, blaming David's sabotage. Dr. Cable decided to put him on trial publicly. To lure David out, she ordered Paris to attack his parents. David, overcome with rage, rushed to his father's side. At the same time, Tally confronted Dr. Cable, demanding to know why she was harming people. Her question exposed her to suspicion, and David and Shay were stunned to see their trusted friend branded as a traitor. Tally ignored their judgment, running into a nearby building to create an explosion. Using the chaos, she grabbed a sword and fought off the soldiers. This allowed Tally and David to escape, but Dr. Cable chose not to pursue them immediately. Confident her enemies would return, she ordered the soldiers to destroy Smoke City and capture everyone. After Dr. Cable left, Tally found David and explained she hadn't intentionally alerted the authorities. Despite this, David couldn't bring himself to trust her. To redeem herself, Tally proposed infiltrating the school with David. Though skeptical, David followed her. Unfamiliar with the terrain, Tally led David to Shay's former acquaintances. Once their presence was accepted, they rallied like-minded allies to launch a full-scale rebellion. Tally created a distraction to lure a patrol ship from its hangar. She and David lay in wait, sneaking aboard just before the doors closed. The group stealthily infiltrated the prison, and Tally used a classmate's ring to unlock the main gate, only to awkwardly run straight into the warden. David quickly reacted, delivering a beating to the warden before shoving him out the door. Taking advantage of the chaos, Tally snatched the warden's ring, and with everyone's coordinated efforts, they managed to free the prisoners. However, Tally noticed Shay was missing. After inquiring, she learned that Shay had already been taken to the operating table. Desperate to save Shay, Tally ignored the suspicious glances from others and offered a plan to rescue her. But when they entered the operating room, they were met with a fully transformed Shay. Seeing the unrecognizable Shay, Tally shed tears of guilt. At that moment, Dr. Cable appeared and offered Tally one last choice: either undergo the surgery or face elimination. Left with no other option, Tally and her companions reluctantly entered the surgical chambers. Just as the procedures were about to begin, Croy arrived in a fighter jet to provide support, successfully interrupting the surgeries. Amid the chaos, David's mother seized the opportunity to steal the vital nanocompound. Meanwhile, Tally helped Shay escape, but during their flight, they were intercepted by Paris. Tally tried to evoke Paris's memories by showing him the scar on her hand. However, David misinterpreted the situation and thought Paris intended to harm Tally. He launched into a fight with Paris, and the two became locked in a fierce struggle. In the critical moment, Tally pushed Paris away, inadvertently sending him to the edge of a cliff. At the edge, Paris, his memories of their past friendship restored, called out Tally's name, but he fell into the rushing waters below. Tally, unable to grieve, led Shay and the others into an abandoned building to hide. David's mother attempted to administer the cure to Shay, but Shay, now transformed, rejected it. Unwilling to force her, the group had no choice but to give up. Suddenly, Tally came up with a solution. She volunteered to undergo the transformation surgery, willingly becoming a brain-damaged pretty, to serve as a test subject for the cure. David worried about the risks to Tally, but she stood firm, convinced that this was the only way to atone for her mistakes. Before parting, Tally pleaded with David to forgive her if she returned to him one day. David, unable to hide his feelings any longer, confessed his love for Tally and praised her beauty. After everyone left, Tally faced Dr. Cable alone and voluntarily offered to undergo the transformation surgery. Dr. Cable accepted her request. Following the surgery, Tally emerged as a stunning pretty, fully embodying the ideal of perfection. While she was satisfied with her new appearance, she noticed the scar on her hand remained intact, a testament to her determination. She knew the final battle between Dr. Cable and Smoke City was inevitable and approaching quickly.